The journal said the ritual would only cost a drop of blood. But it lied. By the time I realized the truth, my reflection stopped blinking, and the thing in the mirror started speaking for me. Welcome to Eerie's short and scary stories, where the shadows whisper and nothing is ever truly forgotten. Tonight's tale? A warning about the price of blood magic, and why some doors, once opened, can never be closed. My name is Bono. Let me tell you how a single drop of blood ruined my life. It started in the attic of that old house I was renting, the kind of place that always felt like it was holding its breath. The floorboards groaned under every step, and the air smelled like dust and something else, something sour, like dried ink. That's where I found it. A leather-bound journal, tucked behind a loose brick like it had been waiting for me. The moment I touched it, the room got colder. I should have left it there. But I didn't. The pages were covered in symbols, cramped, handwritten things that looked half-finished, like whoever wrote them kept getting interrupted. And then there were the promises. A single drop of blood can change your fate. I laughed when I read that. Blood magic? Seriously? But then my scholarship got revoked the next week. No warning. No explanation. Just an email saying I owed the university $12,000 by the end of the month. That's when I stopped laughing. So I tried it. Just a prick of my finger, like the book said. A whisper of words I didn't understand. I felt stupid standing there in my bathroom, watching a bead of blood drip into the sink. Nothing happened. I went to bed pissed off at myself for being desperate enough to believe in something so stupid. Then I woke up to an alert on my phone. Payment received, $12,000. No sender. No record of the transaction. Just, paid. I told myself it was a coincidence. A mistake. A rich relative I didn't know about. But that night, I dreamed of a woman standing at the foot of my bed. Her lips were sewn shut with black thread. She didn't move. Didn't blink. Just stared at me like she was waiting. The next morning, my landlord, a guy who'd spent the last 6 months threatening to evict me, was found dead in his bathtub. Slit wrists. The police called it suicide. But I knew. I knew. Because the night before, I'd done another ritual. This time, I used a vial of blood. And I'd whispered his name. The journal had a new entry the next day. In handwriting that wasn't mine. For life eternal, fill the bowl. And that's when the real nightmare began. The journal wasn't done with me. Not even close. It started showing me new pages, pages I swear weren't there before. Bigger spells. Darker promises. For wealth, use a vial, it said. For power, a cup. I remember running my finger over those words and feeling the paper pulse under my touch like a slow, sick heartbeat. I tried the second one. Power sounded good. Power sounded safe. I filled a coffee mug halfway with my own blood, took 20 minutes and 3 razor blades to get enough, and recited the words while staring at my reflection in the bathroom mirror. My hands shook so bad I spilled some on the tiles. It looked black in the yellow light. That same night, old man Hendricks, my landlord, the guy who'd slap his wife around so loud the whole building could hear it, slipped in his shower. At least, that's what the coroner called it. Freak accident, the cops said. Skull fractured in 6 places. The neighbors whispered about how the shower curtain rod was still perfectly intact, and how the water had run red for an hour before anyone found him. I should have felt something. Guilt. Fear. Anything. But all I felt was warm, syrupy relief spreading through my chest. And beneath that, hunger. Because the journal whispered to me that night. Not in words. In pictures. Flashes behind my eyelids every time I blinked. My reflection winking at me when I turned away. Shadows in the corner of my room that twitched like they were laughing. And always, always that same phrase written in dripping letters on the last page, for life eternal, fill the bowl. Then I saw her. Not in a dream. Not in the mirror. Right there at the foot of my bed, so real I could smell the rot clinging to her wedding dress. Her lips, those awful, thread-sewn lips, parted just enough to let out a sigh that smelled like opened graves. That's when I understood the worst part. She wasn't here for Hendricks. She was here for me. At first, she only came when I slept. I'd close my eyes, and there she'd be, standing at the end of some long, dark hallway in my dreams. That white dress, yellowed with age, hanging off her bony shoulders like a shroud. Those lips, sewn tight with black thread, twitching like she was trying to speak. And the humming. God, the humming. Some lullaby I almost recognized, like something my grandmother used to sing, but wrong. Slower. With too many pauses where her throat would click like a dying insect. I told myself it was just stress. Too much blood loss. Too much guilt gnawing at my gut. Then I did the third ritual. This one required a name. I wrote mine. That night, I woke up thirsty, the kind of thirst that feels like someone poured sand down your throat. I stumbled to the bathroom, flicked on the light, and nearly screamed. She was right there. In the mirror. Behind me. Only I hadn't heard her walk in. Her fingers, long, gray, the nails cracked and black, rested on my shoulders. I could feel them. Cold as dead meat. I didn't move. Didn't breathe. Just watched in the mirror as she leaned closer, that awful humming vibrating against the back of my neck. Then I saw them. The shadows pooling around our feet. Dozens of thin, grasping hands pushing up through the tile like they were drowning in something beneath us. I slammed my elbow back, felt it hit nothing but air, and the second I blinked, she was gone. That's when I lost it. I ripped every page out of that cursed journal. Lit them on fire in my sink. Watched the edges curl and blacken while I whispered, "Stay dead, stay dead, stay dead." The ashes swirled down the drain, and for one stupid, hopeful second, I thought it was over. Morning proved me wrong. The journal sat on my kitchen table. Whole. Untouched. Open to a fresh page where new words had appeared in jagged, angry letters. You promised US blood. The faucet turned on by itself. Rust-brown water gushed out. And from somewhere deep in the pipes, a chorus of voices gurgled up. Now we take it. I had to stop it. Whatever was happening, whatever I'd unleashed, I needed to make it end. My hands shook as I grabbed the kitchen knife. The blade caught the moonlight as I dragged it across my palm, deeper than I meant to. Blood welled up thick and fast, dripping onto the journal's open pages. I screamed the words I'd found scribbled in the margins, the supposed reversal spell. My voice cracked like a teenager's, raw with terror. For 3 heartbeats, nothing happened. Then the woman's stitches snapped. One by one, those black threads popped like overstretched guitar strings. Her lips peeled apart with a wet, tearing sound, and what came out? Christ, it wasn't a tongue. It was something segmented, glistening, clicking against her teeth like a cockroach testing its new shell. The wall sighed. I watched in frozen horror as crimson beads pushed through the paint, swelling, merging into fat red tears that streaked down to the floorboards. My phone lit up on the table, unknown caller. Then another. And another. The screen flashed with numbers that couldn't exist, all zeros, strings of repeating nines, area codes from countries I'd never heard of. Something tapped on my bedroom window. Not a branch. Not a bird. 5 distinct taps, like fingernails counting down. The woman's mouth stretched wider than any human jaw should allow, and when she spoke, it wasn't just her voice. It was dozens, men, women, children, all speaking through that ruined mouth at once. Little magician, they crooned, the words buzzing with that awful insect clicking. You took. Now you owe. The phone rang again. The walls pulsed. The thing at my window scratched long lines down the glass. Then the offer came. 2 sentences that made my blood freeze colder than any horror I'd witnessed yet. Bring us another. And you live. The journal flipped to a blank page by itself. A name appeared there in my own handwriting, my coworker, Sarah, who'd brought me soup when I had the flu last winter. I realized then what true fear was. Not the bleeding walls. Not the phone calls from the dead. But how badly I wanted to say yes. I ran that night. Didn't pack. Didn't leave a note. Just grabbed my wallet and ran until my lungs burned and my legs gave out. 3 months later, I was in another country, under another name, in a shitty apartment with bars on the windows. I slept with the lights on. Jumped at every creak in the floorboards. But the journal was gone. The woman was gone. I started to believe I'd left it all behind. Then winter came. I woke up to frost on the inside of my windows. Not unusual for December, except I hadn't turned the heat off. My breath came out in white puffs, and when I went to make coffee, I found the mug from that night, the one I'd used for the ritual, sitting clean and dry in my empty cupboard. I'd left it behind. I knew I had. That's when the knocking started. Not at the door. Inside the walls. 3 slow raps, then silence. Then 3 more. I pressed my ear to the plaster and heard something wet dragging itself through the pipes. Last Tuesday, Mrs. Petrovich from across the hall stopped me in the stairwell. Her grandson Tomas had been having nightmares. He keeps talking about the lady in your apartment, she said, her wrinkled face pinched with concern. The one with the, how does he say it, the bad mouth. I told her it was just childhood imagination. But that night, as I lay awake staring at the water stain on my ceiling, the one that looked like a woman with her hands outstretched, I heard it. A child's giggle, right outside my door. Then 3 knocks. Not on the door. On my side of the door. This is how it ends. Not with some grand confrontation. Not with me burning the journal or sealing the entity away. There are no heroes in blood magic. Only fools who think they can control it, and the unlucky bastards who come after them. I'm sitting here now, in this cheap motel room that smells like cigarette smoke and mildew, writing this down because someone needs to know. The journal's on the bed beside me. It never stays gone for long. No matter how many times I throw it away, burn it, drop it in the river, it always comes back. The cover's different now. Darker. The pages feel warm, like skin left out in the sun too long. Thomas stopped screaming about the lady in white last week. His grandmother says he sleeps peacefully now. Too peacefully. He doesn't blink as much as he used to. And sometimes, when he thinks no one's looking, his lips move like he's humming a tune no one else can hear. The knocking follows me everywhere. 3 raps. Always 3. At hotel doors, in restaurant bathrooms, once from inside my own suitcase on a train to Berlin. I used to jump every time. Now I just wait for it, like some sick part of me misses the anticipation. Here's what they don't tell you about blood magic: it's not the rituals that damn you. It's the aftermath. The way your hands stop shaking when you think about doing just one more. The way your reflection holds your gaze a second too long. The dreams where you're not sure if you're the victim or the thing standing at the foot of the bed. So listen to me. Really listen. If you ever find a book like this, leather-bound, with pages that stick slightly when you turn them, smelling faintly of copper, don't open it. Don't read the words aloud. Don't tell yourself, just a drop won't hurt. Because it's not about the blood you give. It's about the hunger you awaken. And trust me, you're not as strong as you think. And just like that, we reach the end of our little nightmare. But before you go, let me ask you something. Did you feel it? That creeping sensation between your shoulder blades as the story unfolded? The way your pulse picked up when the journal refused to burn? That's the magic of a good horror tale, it lingers. Like the faint smell of smoke long after the fire's been put out. If this taste of the forbidden hooked you, imagine what else waits in the shadows. Eerie Short and Scary Stories delivers fresh nightmares every week, lost diaries, haunted artifacts, and things that whisper from the dark when you're alone. Hit that subscribe button and ring the bell, because trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. As for tonight? Well, maybe leave a light on. And if you hear 3 soft knocks at your door, don't answer. Sweet dreams.